Hello there and welcome back, guys. So the first day of the free agency has been absolutely bonkers, absolutely crazy. We have seen a lot of signings, a lot of big signings. Just after 6 hours of the first day of free agency, there has been over $1 billion spent. Absolutely crazy numbers, guys. We will go through all of the signings, but today I want to go through Montreal Canadiens and they signing Juraj Slafkovsky. It has been a big extension. I am personally from Slovakia, so in our media here in Slovakia, Juraj Slafkovsky obviously is from Slovakia. It has been a huge talking point. Obviously a big contract for 8 years with an average annual value of 7.6 million, contract worth of over $60 million. So a huge contract for Juraj Slafkovsky. Now, is it good choice for the Montreal Canadiens or not? That is the biggest questions, guys, that even some analytics there or some analysts are trying to answer. Personally, I do believe that it's a big risk. It always is risk when we are talking about these long-term contracts. It always is a risk, obviously, and especially when Juraj Slafkovsky, he still has played only like over 100 games at the NHL level. Obviously, in the first season, he was injured and he played in his first season in the NHL only 39 games, and in those 39 games he had 10 points. So it wasn't really a good first season for Slafkovsky with the injury and everything. And then this last season it has been a lot better. 82 games, 20 goals, 30 assists, 50 points for Juraj Slafkovsky. But even that last season, it has been a tale of the two halves. The first half of the season has been quite shaky from Slafkovsky, but the second half of the season, when he really got on the top line with Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki, top power play, he really started to produce. He was almost a point per game player in the second half of this past season. So definitely we have seen some huge progress from Juraj Slafkovsky. Obviously he's a really big size for Juraj Slafkovsky, and usually these type of players, they do need some more time in order to develop their game to the NHL level. So we kind of have to count with that, but definitely it's a big gamble from the Montreal Canadiens and also for Juraj Slafkovsky. He had a press conference today in Slovakia at 5 p.m. local time here in Slovakia, and he said that he basically didn't care about money and he only wanted to stay in Montreal. I think it's pretty clear that it has been a great fit for Juraj Slafkovsky in Montreal. I think that's kind of obvious. I think the fans in Montreal love him, and he clearly loves playing in Montreal, that's for sure. He has been speaking even to our Slovak media, and he definitely enjoys playing in Montreal, so I don't blame him, but I don't blame him even taking 60 millions. He definitely chose the safe path, I would say, because obviously he could have bet on himself, try to take some bridge contract and then prove himself and try to earn maybe even more. But he chose the safe way, 60 millions for 8 years. I think these long-term contracts are always a gamble. They always will be. You never know if an injury may come into play, but especially with these young players. Slafkovsky is still only 20 years old. Obviously, as I have been saying, he has had only a half of the season very good. So there are two options, guys. Either he will continue to score at the same rate as he was able during this last season, especially in the second half, and then a few years down the road we will see this contract as a big bargain. Or he will kind of have some setbacks, and he won't be able to score at that rate, and then it will be kind of a problem for the Montreal Canadiens. But definitely overall, I think a pretty reasonable contract, I would say. I wouldn't call it, a bad contract. Definitely not. Based on his performance in the second half of this past season, he deserves what he got. And right now, it's all about Juraj Slafkovsky. If he will be able to prove himself, and that he really deserves this money, and maybe even it will be considered an absolute steal for the Montreal Canadiens if Slafkovsky would be able to score 80, 90 points per season, then 7.6 millions, especially with the cap space or cap going up, then it will be an absolute bargain for the Canadiens. So you never know what will happen, but definitely it's also a thing about the kind of a situation inside the Montreal dressing room with the internal cap. You know, Nick Suzuki, he has signed a contract at the average annual value AAV of 7.875. And Cole Caulfield has signed a contract of the annual value 7.85 million. Juraj Slafkovsky right now has 7.6 million. So, you know, it's kind of like all right in Montreal right now, I would say. And Suzuki and Caulfield, they are satisfied probably as well. Juraj Slafkovsky didn't get more money than they got, so I think it's all right. Again, I'm from Slovakia, so I'm definitely cheering for Juraj Slafkovsky. I hope we will do well in Montreal in the next few years, and I think it's a pretty reasonable contract. Again, it's always a gamble in these long-term contracts, but let's see how Juraj Slafkovsky will prove himself in the next couple of years. Anyways, guys, that's my point of view. Make sure to tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe if you haven't already, as we are trying to reach some more subscribers. I would really appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, in the next video we'll be talking about the Nashville Predators, and they are definitely getting scary right now with signing a lot of great players. So yeah, talking about Nashville next. For now, that's all about Juraj Slafkovsky and his 60 million extension with the Montreal Canadiens.